That's another part of our spiritual leadership is the sacred readings. All of this to me is an important part of this. You know, I've been traveling and teaching for a long time in my life, many years, decades, and you know, I always thought, you know, wow, you know, you go to a church and spiritual centers, yoga centers, all kinds of different places, and you go, I really like that about that one, and I really like that about that one. Things I wouldn't do. You know, and on tour all these years, one of the things I thought, oh man, they need to stop doing this was the music program. In many of the places, it's almost like it's show tunes. It's like American Idol, you know. So, and you know, the spotlights come on. You have somebody come up and do a Bette Midler song, and I go, what does this have to do with anything? So I was, you know, I'm just like that. I'm like, you know, more God, man. So I said, you know, gong and sacred music, and even when it's the playful music we play, it's deeply spiritual. It could be moody blues that we're all singing along to, but deeply spiritual, because spiritual centers that's always been what they were supposed to do. It's about a God experience. And before people even arrive, it's already being set up energetically. And then every sound, the incense, you know, whatever we're doing, it's supposed to all be very conscientious, very good intent behind it. So for us to select musicians, there's people that ask, and we say, well, you know, because they're, you know, they're not doing this kind of music like we have with John being a guest today. Thank you, by the way. You know, so this, I love that. I love when everything deepens the experience, right? The prayer, all of this, and the sacred reading's part of that. And the sacred readers are asked to select a couple of choices, you know, and then we can look at it, but so that they're sort of doing their work to find sacred readings. You see? Even that behind it is just, it's all adding to the depth of what we're experiencing. And speaking of which, you know, a lot of people that want to deepen their studies or deepen their spirituality, you know, to me, as we're growing spiritually, you should expect to want to see life more deeply. I mean, really, this should be natural. It should be happening. You know, where you no longer just see an ocean when you look at an ocean. You know, when you're looking at stars, or a flower, a child, or whatever. To me, everything can be wow and just multi-dimensional. Not in a way that makes you unstable, but just, you know, just in a way to be able to see life from such a deep place. And to me, even terminology, you know, people now, it's the new age kind of spiritual groups. You know, they love terms like, you know, hey, have you heard the word, you know, multidimensional? No, but sacred geometry. Like they're just throwing out these words at each other. Hey, how you doing? Sacred geometry. Ooh, vibration. You know, power of intention. Power, you know, it becomes just this thing, like an ism. So, and that's normal to want to deepen our languaging, because if our consciousness is deepening, language should be as well. But yeah, I'm sorry, you warm it a little for them. Thanks. But I find that even teachers and students on the path, they'll throw out these words and not have a clue what they mean. A vibration. Ooh. And nobody knows what it means. Frequency. Oh, that's an energetic word, isn't it? But they often don't know what it means. So I look at this and say, you know, it's like why Jesus said, the way is narrow and few. He didn't mean only a few people are worthy. But what he was saying in his time here, the way is narrow. It's because, as he puts it in A Course in Miracles, few choose to listen. Few choose to step into that consciousness. But we can. And this is inevitable. We're all going to go to that heightened level of consciousness. But it won't work for people to go, I have already decided what the word vibration means. Learn to ask the Mother, the Holy Spirit of God. You be my guide, my teacher, my healer, my counselor. Plug in. So when people say, you know, okay, twin flames, what does it mean? And let the Mother teach. Let her download what it means instead of going, oh, I know what that means. It means exactly what I want it to mean. You know, deepening consciousness, allowing everything to go to a deeper place. So I think, you know, like the word frequency, it means that which you frequently see. It's pretty easy, right? Why don't more people know this? Why don't more spiritual teachers and students know it? Frequency. This downloaded to me one day, and it's what we frequently see. Okay. But that's actually only one level of understanding it. Because even those who see themselves as deeply spiritual go, oh, wow, I love that. And that's what I mean by blurting out words. They read it in a book, or they hear it, and then they go, hey, frequency. They go over to Whole Foods, frequency. And they, blurt out words like, organic, ooh, What does it mean? Oh, I don't know. It just sounded really cool and impressive. How you doing? Oh, frequency, Oh, wow, man, that's intense. Wow. So some of them go, I heard that it means what we frequently see. And then they start blurting that. How you doing? Frequency is what we frequently see. Reciting words doesn't mean you get it. So if you really want to go deeper into the meaning, even deeper than what we frequently see. And you know what that accidentally means to people that aren't that deep yet. They're getting there. I'm a victim of the world I see. So my frequency is subject to the world I see. And if I don't see a very good world, that's why I don't have a high frequency. And that's not the direction it should have gone. Are you following with that? No. Frequency at its highest meaning is what I frequently see comes from what I believe myself to be. Uh-oh. No, wait a minute. I wanted to believe that the world determines my frequency. Well, that's still being a victim of the world, you see. Your frequency comes from what you believe yourself to be. And what you believe yourself to be will determine what you see. That was good. I just heard that. And I went, wow. Oh, okay. So how beautiful is that? Our frequency. And I mean my individual frequency, our group here and around the world, that political group, that non-political group, every individual and collective of every kind, planet Earth or this town or your family, has a frequency. And it is always the sum total of what I believe myself to be, or we believe ourselves to be. If I think I'm a victim of the world I see, I just set up my frequency. I've just determined what I'm going to be seeing in my life. So it's not, even though to some degree the stuff that happens in the world tends to program us and have some effect on what we believe ourselves to be. That's true. To a degree, you could say that's true. But nothing is stronger than your own belief, your own choice to say, this is what I believe. The world's telling me I'm this color, this race, all men are this way, all women are that way. That's what the world tells me. And we used to believe that. So what we saw was that common frequency, was what we commonly saw in the world. Well, because after all, I am this race or this gender. One of the coolest things a person can experience is free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, I am free at last. From my family, from my gender, from my religion. I don't care who programmed you. They don't actually have any rights in this matter. And this gets tricky because, I'm ready to change my frequency. I'm ready to get this. I get what he's saying here, and it's from what I believe myself to be. Well, the world has you in chains. We contracted to be mortals. Remember, there's gods and goddesses, there's demigods and goddesses, there's, heroes in mythologies, and all mythologies agreeing on this. And they say then there's eventually one group, the lowest group, are the mortals. What does the word mean? Death. It means you're going to die. Where's the god goddess? We walk around these psychic fairs. Hi, hello, goddess. Namaste, my lord, and all these wonderful fancy words. And everybody's here with a contract that they're going to die. How you doing? Almost there. Almost dead. I have almost fulfilled my mortal, contract of dying. I'm noticing, hold on. Yep. I got my electronic things that tell me I'm now 10% further on to that point. Wow. I was doing really well, but I ate something I shouldn't have. Now I've sped things up a little bit. You're heading hard and fast to your mortality, your death. That is not our divine self that buys that. But this world programs us with that. News shows and books and new fads online and popular whatever's telling you, oh, did you know without this you could die? Well, you will eventually because you believe you're immortal. But the true God goddess doesn't have to fight mortality, but you don't have to believe in it. Even if you pass away, you can lie on your deathbed with a smile on your face knowing, you death, you think you're actually taking me out? This is Jesus talking to Pilate. You have no power other than that which I gave you. That's all you say. You go ahead and die, and death is going, I'm proving, that's the ego world. I'm proving to you, you're a limited being. And you say, if that were true, I would actually believe that when I die, I'm dead. And I can't die. So you're already wrong. You and the world that supports you is already in huge error. You just think you have power over me. And this is a sickness that we have on this planet. People are actually waiting around for someone to give them permission to change their lives for the better. Now, in case you don't know this, people do not have that power. It looks like it because we sign contracts that are just lies. I'm going to pretend that my parents have, my pastor has, my wife or husband or partner has. Nobody can have power over you. It's impossible. But why does it look like it's so blatantly there? Because that's the contract we signed. So if nobody has power over me, my healthiness, my sense of self-worth, if nobody has power over us, and this is a sickness, to believe that others have power over us, let's say, put it that way for now. It's a sickness. But if nobody really has power over us, and God already wills that you improve your life, then actually there's nobody left but me that can inhibit the growth of my life, the improvement of my life. I mean, that's the math of it. What about others? They don't have any. What about God? He's already with you. He's on board. So now what? Bummer. Me. I have to actually step up and take that power back, be responsible. And this is where it gets really interesting, because the belief that others control your frequency, that others control what you frequently see. What I frequently see are divorces. What I frequently see is lack financially. And it's others. That's believing others can control what you frequently see, which is admitting that you think that they have control over your frequency. But your frequency comes from what you believe yourself to be. Well, what I am is a victim of them. Well, then it makes sense that they have control over your life, because you're all insane. Everybody's insane. They're playing the role that they don't have, and you're farming it out. People do not have that power. What they do have the power to do, like let's say life coaches and support people. Okay, what they can do is help you get the wording on the contract. I believe in you. Okay, I believe in me. They can give you wording for your contract. They can't sign your contract for you. The contract that says, who is in charge of my life? Okay? They can only give you some ideas on wording or what not to put in there. You know, after a certain type of person in your life, you go, note to self, I'll remove that from the contract. You know, you'll get that and you'll fine tune the contract, but you're the only one that can sign the contract. So this world is, to say the least, an interesting place in the worst sense, because everybody's acting in a way that's insane. It's untrue. So they don't have the power. God has already given me the power. All I need to do now is step into it. So what would I like to do to change my life? Well, here's an interesting thing to consider. When you believe that other people have the power, you will get vaccinated, you will not get vaccinated. You will vote for this, you will not vote for that. You are this type of color, and that's always going to happen when you're that color, or when you're that gender, all women this, all men that. When you have any of that going on, they're just temptations to cause you to lose, sight of who you really are. They're just temptations. They don't have any real power. But if we can agree that you have at least an ounce of spiritual IQ, which we know we have, think about this. If you're intuitive, which you are, if you're spiritual, which you are, then why would you still allow other people to act as though they can control your greater good? There's a reason why you do it. Because you want to. Because it's a good excuse. The reason I can't improve my life is because my boss won't give me a raise. The reason I'm this way is my parents. They gave me the tendency for alcoholism. See, the reason I can't be a better person or improve my life is because, and as soon as you can still say someone else played a role in that, you can, wasn't me. But since others can't actually cause the change for you, sign the contract by believing that they have that power. Do you realize what you're doing? Sabotaging yourself. You know dang well that they don't have that power, but you're pretending they do. Why? Because you then don't have to improve your life. Well, if only they. No, there is no they. You. And when you pretend that others have power, and I know it seems like they do sometimes. Well, Michael, you're wrong. I mean, come on. Everybody knows that I would have more money if I didn't have to pay such taxes. I can't control the IRS. You can actually. When you decide that your mind changes your... It's like this time I got a car. I think it was my first car. A cool little blue Celica back in the 70s. And this friend of the family said, I have this car if you'd like to buy it. I'm like, oh, cool. He shows it to me. I'm like, oh, it's blue. For me, colors why I would buy a car more than, what make and model. Is it safe? Who cares? It could be a skateboard with a windshield. If it's colored right for me, I'm buying it. I go with color. It's just me. Anyway, so I'm like, oh, man, it's beautiful. He goes, okay, and we test drove it, and great. It's totally a done deal. He says, now, it's whatever amount of money, $2,000. So here's the $2,000. He goes, okay, so the car's yours. He said, now, I'm going to hand you back $100. I go, okay, great. Why? He goes, there's a part that you have to buy on the carburetor that when you come to a stop, it doesn't keep the idle up. It'll die if you don't keep your foot on the accelerator or have that part to keep it from dying. He goes, it's $100, so there you go, and I'll pay for it. Very good integrity. I said, thank you. I never bought the part, and the car never died. I mean, what do you mean? Because that wasn't me. That wasn't my lesson. That was his. And it's a car part. It's three-dimensional. It was broken for him, and it's not broken for me. Or food, or diet, health, belief system, religious. These are just in our belief systems. And this world is nothing but a hologram. There's a great Star Trek episode, the New Generation one, where, long story short, they're showing scenes of the crew on the ship, and they're starting to notice weird things in the room. Like suddenly there'd be like a buzzing in the corner, and they're like, what was that? And it's happening here and there. What happened is an alien species beamed them all into a hologram of their ship, but holograms are not perfect. So it would short out now and again. You see what I'm saying there? So they're going, wait a minute. And that's what you and I are supposed to do. When you watch the news, you go, wait a minute. Wait, somebody's not telling the truth here. You're supposed to see through it and go, in the world, not of the world. This is not my home. This is not my final whatever. This is not my ultimate consciousness. See through it. Call it for what it is. If we want to increase our frequency, if we want to improve our consciousness and heighten our level of consciousness, then, it's like, let's step up. Say no. Question some of those things in this world. If you can't question them, don't think it's the world that's got the problem. If you won't question these things, here's what you need to think about. I'm not questioning them because that would cause me to change. Oh. Can you own that? Do you feel comfortable with that? I'm completely comfortable owning that I'm not actually committed to change. I just want to complain about it. I just want to complain that it's not happening. If only. If I had a hammer, I would change things in the morning, and just walk around talking about what if. But it's not happening. And it's really important for us to stop and breathe and go, if what Michael's saying is remotely true, and I assure you that it is, then I have to consider that not making changes in my life and or blaming other people for that not happening, these are ways of me making it not happen. As long as I keep giving the power to others, doesn't make it truer. It just means I'm finding reasons to not step in, step up, rise, hold the consciousness. So soak that in for just a second. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about having not, stepped up sooner? How does that all feel? Do I feel guilty? Do I feel ashamed? Those are also not God's will. Well, people are making me. No. You're choosing to feel ashamed and guilty. Would you like to keep doing that? Yeah, give me a couple more minutes of commiserating. Okay, I'm done. And you'll be able to laugh at yourself if you see that that's what you're doing. I don't think we always feel like laughing when we see that that's what we're doing, but it helps. It helps. We'll often laugh when we see that that's what we're doing. Sometimes it makes us feel terrible for a moment. Why am I still doing this to myself, and so on? Well, it's good to track that. And what it'll come down to, deeply inside of ourselves, we actually don't think we deserve better. There's a part of us that believes that we left God, which you can't if God is all there is. That's spirituality 101. God is all there is. Okay, well, if God is all there is, how did you leave him? Well, because I went somewhere else. Where's that? Nowhere. Oh, okay, so I didn't leave. So what I did was I closed my eyes and went into a trance and made believe that I left. So all I need to do is open my eyes, which is why Buddha would say, wake up. Oh, just eyes open. Oh. Buddha also said, heaven is all around you. You have to lift the veils to see it. What are the veils? My belief systems. What I frequently see, which comes from what I believe myself to be. So I'm thanking God that I have a group that I go to like this, because they're improving what I believe myself to be. They're not just improving my frequency. See, people will do that. For $99.99, I can change your frequency. Not if I don't want you to. Go ahead. Go ahead. Try to change my frequency. No. And you can block it. But you could also let go and let God. This is God's will and it's my will. If somebody else doesn't agree and your parents say, don't you be going to change your frequency anytime, you're part of that coven, When you hear that kind of thing, just realize, get behind me, Satan. Don't say that to your mom, but, get behind me. Get out of my way. You know what? I'm going for God. I'm going for God. I'm ready. I'm just, wow, consciousness. I'm ready for some great things. And, when they act like that, say those things, remember, they're a voice from your past. They are. They're a voice from your past that's saying, do you really deserve to improve your frequency? Your answer should be yes. So in your mind, you just make some adjustments. Eventually, they'll stop talking to you, which is a good thing. When they realize that they can't get through to you and get you to go back to their frequency, the way they frequently see and want to see you, they often just give up. And if they don't, let them be. To my own true self, to my own divine self, I must be true. This is all true, what I'm saying. God already said, I want you to improve your life. Go for it. They say no. Which one do I want to listen to? Choose whom ye will serve. God or manna. God or man. Reality or illusion. I want the reality. I'm going to go with that one. Door number 1. I'll take enlightenment for 20, Alec. Whatever game show you want to use as a metaphor, let's go for it. Double jeopardy for enlightenment. Yes. Say, this is what I'm going to choose. So being kinder to ourselves, giving ourselves permission. Giving ourselves permission to change frequency. Okay? When I say giving myself permission, sometimes the ego uses that sentence and burns it out. It gets overused. You have to give yourself permission. But some people are like, I'm going to give myself permission to be a full-blown addict. I'm going to give myself permission to cheat on my partner. And that's not what I mean by giving permission. Although you could give yourself permission to own that you're doing those things and give yourself permission to change them. Rather than pretending they're not there, I'm going to give myself permission to own that, yeah, I've got an issue here or there. And permission to change it. So when I say give permission, I don't mean in that kind of ego-enabling way. I'm going to give myself permission. I'm going to give myself permission to be a holy child of God, the way I was created to be. I'm going to give myself permission to laugh and to cry. Right now I feel sad. I'm going to give myself permission to be sad for a moment. You know, it all means that I'm okay. It's all okay. I'm going to give myself permission to walk away from certain relationships. At the end of the day, am I giving myself permission to step into a healthier self and a healthier life? Now, how could God question that? You and I are going to have these doubts. It's deep inside that we think God doesn't will it. You know why we think that? Because we think God has an issue with us. You left. I mean, I remember my family did this. I moved out of where they lived, and I moved to another state. You know, I moved away, and it was amazing because the night I think it was the night before I left, some relatives were at my parents' house, grandparents, and that sort of thing. And I said, "Did you hear that I'm moving out of the area?" There was this total attitude. Oh, you're leaving. You're moving. And they all got mad. And they wouldn't speak to me anymore and all this. I'm like, wow. You guys don't even like me. This is so weird. It wasn't that. It's how dare you break control? How dare you break the trance, the spell? We have a frequency, the way that we frequently see you. And we want you to stay in your frequency. And I'm like, well, guess what? Jamie Craig Cornyn, I don't care. You know, like, onwards and upwards, people. And that was the end. And I remember hearing years later, one of my brothers, after all, you did leave the family. I'm like, whoa, thank you for reminding me. My self-worth just rose again. You know, like they're thinking that stuff makes me feel bad. It doesn't. This is God wills. I'm aligning with God's will. Boom, boom. They're not in order. Well, I don't expect them to go along with it. It's like Jesus talking to the Pharisees. He says, you know why you can't understand me? Because your father is the devil. And what he was saying is, you listen to the guidance of the ego. My guide is love. That's why you can't understand. That's why what I tell you bothers you. Because you live in darkness and I am the light. And that's a really blunt way to say it. But it's true. So people aren't always going to lend the support. Guys, I wish more people could see it from this place and give you the support to go for it. Come on, you can do it. They can't sign the contract for you. You have to go, yes, I can do it. But I wish more of us had that. But we're the generation of change. The previous generations, that wasn't the way they did things. They kept everything at the same frequency. A 3.0 program of material world. And we sat in 3.0 forever. Tens, if not hundreds of thousands of years. People lived in this 3.0. In our generation, we went 3.1, 3.2, 3.3. You know, we're up and around like 3.7 now. A couple more notches, we're going to another dimension. And if you make it to the fourth dimension, that gets a little tricky, but the fourth dimension is the bridge, the rainbow bridge to other dimensions, like fifth. So, you know, we keep going. Let's raise our consciousness. You can't raise your consciousness or your frequency without changing what you believe yourself to be. And it can't be, well, if only other people, if only a certain person were in office, if only, it doesn't work that way. Beliefs, mine are here, yours are there, and I'm deciding to change my frequency, which comes from changing my mind, my consciousness, my beliefs. And that's going to have to come from us owning where we have signed away our power, you know, believed that God or others didn't allow it. Just please do the math on this. There's no way God would will for anything less, right? I mean, obviously, unless you believe in a hateful God. And that's still something you're allowed to believe. So I can say to myself, I give myself permission to no longer believe in a God that is waiting to snuff me out. I believe, I'm giving myself permission to believe that, in a God that doesn't say, you got issues, and I know just how to fix you. I'm going to send you into hell for eternity. I'm going to believe in a God that is only unconditionally loving. I'm giving myself permission to believe that. And therefore, God's off the hook. I'm giving myself permission to know that if people are truly interested in my greater good, my life improving, thank you. If they're not, adios. I mean, what do I care? I'm done with that. Lastly, I'm giving myself permission to take back what they call take back your power, but it's the real meaning of it. People make it angry oriented. I'm going to take back my power from all the jerks that took my power. They can't. It's not in their power to take your power. It's not anywhere in their abilities. God didn't say, and I'm going to create beings and they're going to take each other's power. It doesn't make any sense. I made you in my image. Nothing can take God's power, therefore it can't take yours. Right? So this concept of I'm going to take back my power, when it became an angry thing, it got twisted again. Yes, I know it does feel like people act like they took away your power at times. How did they take it if you weren't handing it out? So I'm going to have to step up and go, oh, fine. And it may not seem easy. Maybe it sounds easy to you. It may not seem easy when you give it a shot to step back in and go, you know what? Goodbye, 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 goodbye to things that don't resonate. Not just with my little tyrannical, I want things to go a certain way life that we all potentially have. Ego. I'm not talking about ego. I'm saying goodbye to things that are not supporting what truly is my heightening in my frequency. I want to raise consciousness. You're telling me I can't. You're telling me no. Get behind me, Satan. Just step aside. Somebody could give you a lot of harassment around this. You can just say, well, that's not my belief, or that's not what I believe. It's not where I'm at. You can tactfully say things, and when they get that you're not coming from a place that can be steered easily, a lot of times, believe it or not, they let you alone. Especially if you change your frequency about that topic. You're like, here. And they're like, wait, where are you? I want to bug you again. And you're up here somewhere. They won't find you. So that's true immunity. Come on up. A couple centering breaths, please. And I'm going to have John share musically. First, some music, if you'd like.
Sure.
Okay. First, some music of his own. And then at some point, I'm going to step back in and start with words leading us into a meditation. But just relaxing and breathing. Let the music take what we just talked about, take you inside to another level.
I had the good fortune and really exciting to see the movie, the Aretha Franklin movie. I don't know if anyone's seen that movie. Bring a bunch of tissue. And so I had no idea about her life that much, but at the end, one of her greatest songs was actually the Amazing Grace song. And I didn't know that. And it's been a song that's been very close to my heart since I came to Sedona and started learning flute. It was Carlos Nakai who actually I first heard his rendition, then Jesse Clue, and now my own. So in honor of that, right? It's not a show tune, so.
I believe you.
Sonic alchemy frequencies.
Yeah.
Got it down.
Little fun.
continues in Mom Beyond in a sec, okay? Nice. Just continue breathing that in. Eyes closed would be preferable, but just continue breathing that in. No longer waiting for others to give us permission. It doesn't make any sense. We don't have to fight it. Just decide it doesn't make sense. If I seemingly give others the authority to affect my life, then it means I'm making them into a false god. I give myself permission to sometimes feel hurt or angry. But I also give myself permission to heal and move forward. I give myself permission to be a little overweight or underweight and not judge myself for it. I give myself to own addictions, including codependence. And permission to release these. I give myself permission to say no to things that don't work for me and yes to things that do. I give myself permission to be gay or straight. I give myself permission to succeed and be prosperous even without hard work. I give myself permission to make mistakes, past, present, and future, and not judge myself. I give myself permission to have chosen not to have children. I give myself permission to move on after losing a parent or a child or a partner. It's okay. I give myself permission to end relationships that mirror my former beliefs and lack of value. I give myself permission to forgive anyone and everyone that's ever hurt me in any way. I give myself permission to leave former jobs or careers that were not resonating with my soul's purpose. I even give myself permission to manifest new jobs and doors opening even before the others end. I give myself permission to channel inspiring insights from the highest levels of consciousness for myself or others. I give myself permission to not be controlled by the opinions of others. I give myself permission to hear and feel the guidance of God. I give myself permission to be creative I give myself permission to have healthier boundaries. I give myself permission to be sensual. I give myself permission to receive gifts and support from others. I give myself permission to have healthier and more functional family members. I give myself permission to turn away from former thought systems or belief systems or religions that do not support higher consciousness. I give myself permission to laugh, to cry. I give myself permission to hug and be hugged, to kiss and be kissed. I give myself permission to have a safe and healthy vehicle, house, and environment. I give myself permission to cease conversations with people that are hurtful or hateful. I give myself permission to shut down gossip. I give myself permission to get a massage or body work. I give myself permission to sleep in. I give myself permission to talk to God and say anything and everything that's on my mind, knowing that I'm all the more loved for it. I give myself permission to believe that God is only capable of unconditional love and is not a God of judgment. Just add a few more for yourself now, spontaneously. I give myself permission. Lastly, take a look at your life for a moment and see where you're stuck. Any area that seems limited or stuck. And recognize that you probably gave permission for it. On some level you may not know. But also, you can give yourself permission to make a change and get unstuck. You don't have to analyze it, just own it. I'm stuck and I may have allowed that. But I'm ready for change. Own that you might be waiting around for someone else to give you permission. See if it's true. Is there anyone you're waiting to receive permission from? If so, smile inside and say, that was just a way to stall. Giving permission to others to have power over me was just a way to stall. Ask yourself, is there something I might be afraid of that caused me to give permission to others, where instead I'm going to give permission to myself to push through those fears? Beloved Father, Mother God, I am asking you to reach through my resistance and evoke in me courage to push through my fears. I'm taking a moment now to imagine all the possible outcomes of reaching the other side of the obstacles. If the payoff isn't worth it, then I don't have to bother pushing through the fears. But if the payoff is what I hope it to be, think it to be, then I'm going to go for it. I choose to change what I frequently see by changing who I believe myself to be. And I am as God created me. Thank you. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. Thank you, Self, for having the courage to make these changes. And I give myself permission to be less afraid next time. So it is. Thank you, John. Stretch out a little bit. I always use the term instead, I made up stretch in. Don't go out, just right in here, just into my body. Anchoring in what I thought, felt, went through, processed, bringing it all into the here and now. Glorious music, absolutely glorious. I want to say thank you for John being with us, by the way. I didn't see the foyer. I don't know if he put products out this time. If he did, please check them out. If not, remember, John Dumas, on .com, online, you can download some of his music there, okay? And he'll be here Saturday. Please stand for us. Saturday, you mean the festival? Yeah. And he's one of the performers at the festival that's this Saturday. Thank you. Breathing gratitude. Breathing in gratitude. What a wonderful experience. Just the fact that we were willing to hear and contemplate the word frequency. It's sort of a higher group level of consciousness than in some centers, let's say. Then we were willing to go and find out frequency means that which I frequently see. Woo, that's a higher consciousness and frequency that we're at. Then we were willing to find out what I see frequently, and my frequency comes from what I frequently believe myself to be. Now it takes us another level, all in an hour. Boom, 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 boom. Wow. So please make sure you're in your body when you drive home. Please drive carefully. Get in your body, because I don't believe in that. Wow, I'm going to float versus bad day today. No, bring the energy into your drive. Bring it into your walking. Bring it into your meals. Bring it into your hugs. Embody this as much as possible. High and low, front to back, side to side, in and out. This is who I am. Together, please. The light of God surrounds us.
We are the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
We are the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
We are the power of God.
And the presence of God watches over us.
We are the presence of God.
Wherever we go, God is, I am, we are, and so it is. Peace be with you all. Namaste. Thank you. Now must go.